The Green Mile is more than just a movie. It's a cinematic masterpiece that has moved audiences around the world. Hailed as one of the finest adaptations of a Stephen King novel, this film has a rare power. It makes even the toughest viewers shed tears. At its core, it tells the story of a man on death row, a tale filled with supernatural healing, injustice, and redemption that has captivated millions. But beneath the surface of this beloved film lies a trove of secrets that most fans have never even dreamed of. Today, we're going behind the scenes, uncovering revelations straight from the cast and crew who breathe life into this haunting story. These insider secrets reveal hidden meanings, symbolic details, and untold stories that completely reshape how we see Paul Edgecombe's journey. From Tom Hanks' surprising insights about his character's spiritual experience to the incredible transformation of Michael Clarke Duncan as John Coffey, as well as pivotal scenes that almost changed the film's direction entirely. This is the untold story of the Green Mile. By the end of this journey, I guarantee you'll never look at the Green Mile the same way again. 1. A film on the brink of being lost to history. Before diving into these revelations, it's vital to realize how close we came to never seeing the Green Mile on the big screen. After the modest box office returns of The Shawshank Redemption, a film now considered a classic, director Frank Darabont was understandably hesitant to take on another Stephen King prison adaptation. Studios shared his doubts. They questioned whether audiences would commit to a nearly 3-hour-long drama set entirely on death row. It was only Tom Hanks' star power, following his roles in Forrest Gump and Saving Private Ryan, that convinced studios to give the project a chance. Even then, there was relentless pressure to cut the film's length drastically. Darabont's refusal to compromise the runtime was a bold and risky move, but he knew the story demanded every precious minute to develop its characters and convey its profound emotional depth. This unwavering commitment to artistic integrity paved the way for what would become one of Hollywood's most emotionally powerful films, a film that takes its time to touch your heart deeply. 2. Crafting the Mile. Building more than a set, one of the pivotal decisions that shaped the film's authentic feel was the choice to build the entire death row set from scratch. Unlike The Shawshank Redemption, which utilized a real prison location, The Green Mile required a carefully designed environment tailored precisely to the story's needs. Production designer Terrence Marsh, renowned for his Oscar-winning work on Dr. Zhivago and Oliver, painstakingly crafted the mile with historical accuracy and meticulous detail. Every element, from the green linoleum floors to the barred cells, was chosen to immerse viewers fully in the era and atmosphere of the prison. This dedication to setting not only grounded the supernatural elements of the story, but also helped make the environment an unforgettable character in its own right. In bringing the Green Mile to life, every detail of the set was crafted with astonishing precision to capture the authentic atmosphere of Southern prisons at the time. The corridor itself was more than just a passageway. It was designed to evoke an escalating sense of dread as one walked further down, with the cells growing darker and the lighting taking on a more ominous tone. This immersive environment became almost a character itself, deeply influencing the actors' performances. David Morse, who portrayed Brutus Brutal Howell, famously remarked on how the meticulously designed set heightened everything on screen, saying, "That set was something else." A standout element was the production team's creation of a fully functional electric chair, affectionately known as Old Sparky. Built with careful attention to detail, it featured special effects like controlled smoke and lighting that brought the harrowing execution scenes to unnerving light. Sam Rockwell, who embodied the volatile Wild Bill Wharton, recalled the uniquely tense atmosphere on set during these moments. For Dell's botched execution, The filmmakers strategically used multiple cameras to capture the scene swiftly, minimizing takes due to the intense emotional toll on the cast and the costly prosthetic and pyrotechnic effects. To deepen the cast's connection to their roles, director Frank Darabont orchestrated a powerful exercise before filming ever began. For an entire afternoon, the actors were placed in complete silence within the cell block. Guards stood at their posts. Prisoners settled into their cells, all told to simply exist in the space without uttering a word. This immersive downtime allowed them to absorb the weight, monotony, and atmosphere of prison life, enriching their portrayals with genuine emotional resonance. Beyond the set and atmosphere, the actors developed richly detailed backstories that never surfaced explicitly in the film, but profoundly shaped their performances. Tom Hanks, who played Paul Edgecombe, imagined his character as a World War I veteran. This personal history explained Paul's core decency and his deep disturbance at Percy's abuse, reflecting the trauma of senseless violence witnessed in war. Michael Clarke Duncan's portrayal of John Coffey was informed by extensive research. He visited hospitals and observed patients to capture the gentle vulnerability and immense power his character displayed. Duncan would embody John's childlike, fragile demeanor while confined, contrasting this with a more intense, focused posture during moments of healing or supernatural strength, such as when curing Paul's infection. Similarly, Doug Hutcherson drew inspiration for Percy Wetmore's sadistic nature from a childhood bully, channeling this authentic cruelty into a performance that leaves audiences unsettled. These deeply personal connections each actor forged to their characters highlight the profound commitment behind every nuance and gesture seen on screen, making The Green Mile not just a story, but a vivid, visceral experience. The Green Mile isn't just a supernatural prison drama. It's a deeply human story brought to life by dedicated actors who infused their roles with intimate connections and meticulous research. Their commitment transformed the film from a simple, chilling narrative into a rich tapestry of emotion and meaning. Dao. For bien, bum, vi, I know, sing, uncovering hidden layers, symbolism you might miss beyond its gripping plot. The Green Mile is filled with symbolism that often escapes even the most enthusiastic viewers on first watch. Over the years, cast and crew interviews have slowly peeled back these layers, revealing hidden depths. Take the color green, for example. It's not merely the color of the mile's floor, it's a subtle yet powerful visual cue linked to death. Green surfaces repeatedly, from the execution chamber curtains and Dell's sponge, which should have been brined, to the eerie green reflection in Wild Bill's eyes when he arrives. This recurring motif pulses throughout the film, mostly under the radar, but deeply impactful. Then there's the profound theme of spiritual healing woven into John Coffey's miraculous acts. When John cures Paul's urinary infection, or Melinda Moore's brain tumor, the healing transcends the physical. It triggers a spiritual awakening. Paul begins doubting his role in carrying out executions, and Melinda, newly restored, regains not just health but a childlike innocence, interacting with John as though recognizing a kindred soul. Essentially, John heals souls along with bodies. Biblical references enrich the narrative even further, adding layers that deepen John's character into a Christ-like figure. His lament, "I'm tired, boss," tired of being on the road, lonely as a sparrow in the rain, echoes Psalm 102's imagery of abandonment and sorrow. Small details compound these themes. The removal of John's chains during his execution visually mirrors Christ's descent from the cross. Paul's question about what he should do is met with John's simple advice. These subtle references elevate the story from a prison drama to a meditation on suffering and grace. 5. Thou, Mr. Jingles, the mouse that speaks louder than words, no character, big or small, is more memorable or symbolic than Mr. Jingles, the little mouse who becomes Edgeworth Delacroix' loyal companion. Yet this tiny creature is far more than a source of comfort or comic relief. Mr. Croy. Jingles serves as the story's moral compass. Who treats him with kindness, and who doesn't, reveals their true nature and foreshadows their choices later on. Dell, despite his crimes, shows genuine tenderness toward the mouse. Percy, by contrast, seeks to kill it on a whim, demonstrating cruelty. Paul initially hesitates, but eventually decides to protect this vulnerable being, marking an early sign of his compassion and helping to set the stage for how he ultimately supports John Coffey. Through the mouse, the film presents its central moral question. Do we owe protection to the vulnerable, even at personal risk? Each character's answer is subtly reflected in how they treat Mr. Jingles, long before the film's larger tests unfold. This intricate framing ensures that the audience's understanding of the story's ethical heart deepens with every interaction. By intertwining symbolism, spiritual allegory, and poignant character moments, The Green Mile beckons viewers to look beyond its surface and discover a profoundly moving exploration of humanity, mercy, and redemption. In The Green Mile, symbolism breathes new life into the film's closing scenes, especially through the character of Mr. Jingles. Unlike a typical mouse, he lives far beyond the normal lifespan, carrying the extraordinary blessing and burden of John Coffey's touch. Much like Paul Edgecombe, Mr. Jingles embodies a reminder of supernatural grace, piercing an otherwise ordinary, often harsh world. One of the film's most understated yet profound storytelling methods lies in its use of weather to mirror emotional states. The prison's exterior weather is a reflection of what the characters endure inside. Take, for instance, the night of Dell's failed execution, which is engulfed in a violent thunderstorm, amplifying the chaos and despair. When John finally confides the truth to Paul, the atmosphere grows unnervingly still, as though the world pauses to listen. John Coffey's execution itself occurs beneath a clear moonlit sky, calm and serene, perfectly echoing the peace John has found in acceptance. And in a powerful closing visual, Paul's visit to Coffey's grave unfolds on the first truly sunny day in the entire film. Up until then, every outdoor scene has been shrouded in clouds, rain, or shadowed by nightfall. This gradual journey from gloom to sunlight symbolizes the emotional weight Paul has borne over the decades, and finally, the release that comes with sharing Coffey's story. It's a masterful use of natural elements, underscoring the prison's oppressive gloom versus the liberating peace bathed in sunlight. Perhaps one of the film's most poignant moments is John Coffey's simple confession, "I was afraid of the dark." This admission humanizes a character who otherwise seems almost divine in his abilities and demeanor. Despite his extraordinary powers, John remains vulnerable and relatable, sharing a fear that resonates deeply with the audience. He's a gentle giant who, while capable of healing others, still craves compassion himself. This vulnerability recontextualizes the prison guard's final act towards him. Not placing the customary hood over his face during the execution isn't just a break from protocol. It's a tender gesture of mercy extended to a man scared of the darkness. The relationship between Percy Wetmore and Wild Bill Wharton introduces a chilling exploration of evil's varying faces. Percy embodies the insidiousness of institutional cruelty, shielded by political influence and entitlement, while Wild Bill represents unpredictable, raw chaos. Their unnerving interactions especially when Wild Bill intimidates Percy to the point of trauma, have significant ripple effects, including Percy's chilling paralysis during Dell's execution. This dynamic also culminates in a form of poetic justice. Percy's descent into madness is fueled by the very malevolence that Wild Bill unleashed through John Coffey. While some studio executives originally advocated trimming Percy's screen time, fearing it detracted from the core narrative, director Frank Darabont understood that portraying this dark, mundane evil was essential. It grounds the story in reality, reminding viewers that cruelty exists in many forms, from the supernatural to the disturbingly ordinary. Let's delve deeper into the complex interplay of justice and cruelty in The Green Mile. The film doesn't just pit violent chaos against bureaucratic evil, it unveils how systems protect the likes of Percy Wetmore while condemning the gentle John Coffey. Understanding this dynamic is crucial, for it gives profound weight to Percy's fate, reduced to a catatonic state in a mental institution. The man who once wielded his power with cruel abandon ends up as powerless as those he tormented, safeguarded by the very system he exploited. Now, let's reconsider the so-called miracle at the heart of the story. While many believe John's supernatural healing is the film's central miracle, there's a far more subtle, transformative event unfolding. The moral awakening it sparks within Paul Edgecombe and his fellow guards. They begin as mere functionaries within a cold, untrusting system, performing their assigned roles without question. But by the film's end, these men courageously risk their careers, their freedom, even their lives to save an innocent man unjustly condemned. This shift reframes the film from a supernatural tale into a profound meditation on conscience. It explores how human empathy can arise even within the strictest systems, inspiring profound moral courage. John, in turn, experiences his own miracle. He finally finds men capable of treating him with dignity and believing in his innocence, though that belief tragically can't save him. For a man who spent his life misunderstood and feared, this compassion becomes an extraordinary gift. This layered interpretation reveals why The Green Mile resonates so deeply. It captures the miracle of awakening to injustice and choosing to confront it, even at great personal cost. Turning now to the film's ending, something many may not realize is almost entirely different. The memorable epilogue, featuring an elderly Paul Edgecombe still alive decades later thanks to John's miraculous touch, nearly didn't make it to the screen. Studio executives initially argued to conclude the film with John's execution, deeming the epilogue unnecessary and concerned about the film's length. But director Frank Darabont fiercely advocated for its inclusion, understanding that the film's essence lies not in death, but in grappling with the haunting consequences of our choices. Seeing Paul age and carry the burden of executing an innocent man adds profound emotional depth. Interestingly, those scenes featuring Paul as an old man were the first to be filmed, anchoring the entire story in memory and regret. Without this ending, The Green Mile would have been a very different film, more a tale of magical healing than a reflective exploration of mortality, guilt, and the cost of complicity in evil. Finally, while the film's expansive 3-hour runtime allowed Darabont to realize much of his artistic vision, there remain sequences and nuances that audiences never saw, hidden layers that enrich our understanding of this powerful narrative. Several scenes reportedly ended up on the cutting room floor, scenes that cast and crew later revealed would have added crucial depth and context to the story. Among these deleted moments was an extended sequence portraying Paul Edgecombe on his very first day at Cold Mountain Penitentiary. This would have established that Paul was new to death row work, highlighting the stark contrast between his initial idealism and the harsh realities he was about to face. Watching the young, hopeful Paul gradually come to terms with the grim moral challenges ahead would have sharpened the audience's connection to his internal struggle. Another notable deletion involved extra scenes with Paul Edgecombe, Paul's wife, portrayed by Bonnie Hunt. These additions would have explored how Paul's haunting experiences on the Mile seeped into their home life, creating the subtle tensions visible especially when Paul awkwardly brings up John Coffey. These moments would have deepened our understanding of how the extraordinary events at the prison affected Paul's personal relationship. Turning attention to Michael Clarke Duncan, his transformation from a celebrity bodyguard to an Oscar-nominated actor is one of Hollywood's most inspiring tales. Before landing the role of John Coffey, Duncan's life was far removed from the glitz of award ceremonies. Towering at 6'5" and weighing nearly 300 pounds, he had worked grueling jobs, from digging ditches in Chicago to serving as a bouncer and protector for high-profile clients like Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. Casting John Coffey was a tremendous challenge, not just demanding commanding physical presence, but the ability to embody a character of profound innocence mixed with an almost mystical wisdom. Duncan almost missed the chance to audition as he doubted his own acting chops and believed the role might be beyond him. His manager pushed him to try, and although his initial audition was shaky due to nerves, the moment he delivered the heart-wrenching "I'm tired of people being ugly to each other" speech, silence fell over the room. Director Frank Darabont recalls realizing right then that they had found their John Coffey. To prepare for the role, Duncan teamed up with renowned acting coach Larry Moss. He observed vulnerable patients and children, absorbing their frankness and softness to enrich his performance. Yet he still grappled with confidence on set, until Tom Hanks, sensing his struggle, stepped in with encouragement and advice during breaks. The results stunned critics and audiences alike, culminating in Duncan earning Academy Award and Golden Globe nominations for Best Supporting Actor, a remarkable feat for someone so new to acting. Although he did not win the Oscar, losing to Michael Caine for The Cider House Rules, this recognition catapulted his career. Duncan went on to star in major films like Planet of the Apes and Daredevil, leaving behind the days of unnamed security guard role. While The Green Mile's theatrical run yielded a respectable $136 million domestically, it truly blossomed beyond the box office. Its biggest impact emerged through home video and cable television, where it found a devoted audience and grew in stature over time, achieving a lasting legacy as a treasured film that continues to captivate viewers long after its initial release. As The Green Mile nears its 25th anniversary, its gripping hold on audiences remains as strong as ever. Why does this film continue to resonate so deeply? Because it taps into universal truths: our fear of death, our yearning for miracles, and our hope that even flawed systems can harbor moments of grace. The Green Mile doesn't preach or dictate opinions on capital punishment or racial injustice. Instead, it unfolds a story with honesty, inviting viewers to reflect and wrestle with its profound themes. It respects the audience's intelligence, presenting the complexity of humanity while ultimately championing compassion. This film reminds us that no matter how broken the world may be, our essential humanity and choice to show kindness endure. In many ways, The Green Mile captures why we fall in love with movies at all, not merely for entertainment, but as a mirror to our most profound struggles and aspirations. Every detail feels intentional, yet naturally uncovered, as if the filmmakers unearthed a hidden truth cloaked in fiction. Remember John Coffey's powerful words to Paul: "You be kind to them, each and every one. That's your job." If these insights sparked your curiosity, I encourage you to watch the film again with fresh eyes. Notice the recurring green color motif. Observe how the weather mirrors emotional shifts, and pay close attention to Mr. Jingles. How each character interacts with him reveals their moral fiber. Most importantly, share this cinematic gem with someone new. Witnessing their discovery of this unforgettable story is truly magical. If you enjoyed this exploration, Please like the video and subscribe to our channel for more thoughtful dives into cinema's treasure. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload. And drop a comment below telling us what moment in the Green Mile moved you most. Until next time, remember, every one of us owes a death. There are no exceptions. But sometimes, oh God, the Green Mile seems so long.